Alright, today we're going to build a team based on gaining permanent stats in battle. Now, it's not too long since the last time I talked about this. I can't actually remember which video it was. But in a video not too long ago, I started listing off all the different ways that you can gain stats permanently in battle. And at the time I thought I'd covered them all, but there are actually quite a lot of other ones that I missed. So we're going to use some of those in this run. And the main one is going to be Cauliflower. So Cauliflower is probably one of the worst perks in the game, or at least in certain teams it definitely is. There are all sorts of disadvantages with it, not least is the fact that if you get a knockout and then you lose the Cauliflower to an ailment, then you don't get the stat gain from the Cauliflower. But here on turn 3, we pick up the Skeleton Dog, which is obviously another way to gain permanent stats. I don't remember if I mentioned that one previously. It must be the one that I use the most. Definitely way more than Axolotl and Unicorn. I think this one was recorded when the servers were struggling a little bit, so there might be a little bit of lag on the rolls. Not sure exactly what I was looking for here, but we really want a specific tier 3. So I'm going to save the ducks and the opossum until turn 5, and hopefully we'll get the unit that we want. Okay, it's not in the starting shop. That's fairly typical. We'll take the Foo Dog because I also want Anubis. Probably not surprising given that we have Skeleton Dog. And then I think I'm just going to buy... Yeah, okay, we're keeping Skeleton Dog, so we'll just buy the Cloudberry instead of wasting gold rolling there. Sooner or later we're going to find the unit that we want. I've seen quite a few people recently playing Guinea Fowl. I mean, look at this, turn 5, 17 trumpets generated. It does get out of control pretty quickly if you get level 2. And here we go, we get the badger. So I think I should just sell the duck. Yeah, I make a mistake here, I should sell the duck and then just buy the hoopoe bird to make sure that the badger's the only faint pet in the shop. But luckily it works out, so we can sell onto the badger, sell the duck as well. And then, am I going to take... Yeah, not sure exactly why I sold the Foo Dog there. But we're not going to take Anubis now, we're going to take the whale. That's going to increase the effect of the Skeleton Dog. And we're going to try and get as many stats as possible in battle, because that's the only way this team's going to win. So, decent round there, even though we played a 3 squad. Now we're just looking for Anubis. Obviously Anubis is not going to work on Badger until it's level 2. And here I actually just sell the lobster because I don't want to waste Skeleton Dog buffs on it if it happens to get sniped. This looks like another beatable team. Yeah, it should be okay, I think. Or maybe a tie. Okay, we do just win. And then we'll take the Cauliflower on the badger. Now, it's not going to do anything at the moment, but the whole concept is to have the Anubis trigger badger without the badger fainting and see if those knockouts actually generate permanent stats. And obviously, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you will know that that knocking out friendly pets still counts as a knockout. So it definitely is going to work. In fact, we get gingerbread here, so we could just take the Anubis level 2 that way. Yep. And then we're going to keep the second Skeleton Dog because we need something for the Badger Blast to hit. There we go. And it also means that the buffs from the Skeleton Dog being triggered by Anubis don't get wasted. So that is basically the combo working. But there's still another pet that we're going to take, which I think I forgot about in the previous video as well. And we should be able to find it in the shop now. I guess we do actually need level 3 Anubis. So yeah, I should freeze Anubis there as well. Perfect type of opponent here. Actually got their biggest unit at the back. Not sure why. I mean, there were some odd lineups in yesterday's video as well. Or Tuesday's video. I'm not sure when I'll upload this one. nice to have some good fortune in terms of the matchups recently. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't take the Anubis there. I guess I was maybe just going to play double Skeleton Dog the whole rest of the way, but that's not what's going to happen. We're going to acquire another unit. But it's funny seeing all the knockouts triggering all the permanent stat gain at start of battle. So the whale swallowing a pet also counts as a knockout. So maybe that's been in someone else's video, I'm not sure, but because I guess you don't really think of it as being a knockout in the traditional sense. But now we get the Brahma chicken, so that's another way that you can gain permanent stats in battle. Now, the whale swallowing the Brahma chicken doesn't count as dealing damage. The Badger Blast from Anubis does. That's also why we've bought the Unagi onto the Anubis, because then that has a chance of hitting something, doing damage at start of battle, and then being eligible for the buffs from the Brahma chicken. It's kind of hard to tell, but the whale is getting buffs from the Skeleton Dog, but not from the Brahma chicken. But the Anubis and Badger are both getting buffed by the chicken. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm not really going to bother going for the Anubis level up. I suppose actually, yeah, that's a good point. We don't need the Anubis level up because Anubis was changed a while ago so that it only affects the 2 units. So even if we had the upgrade there, it wouldn't have made any difference because it wouldn't affect the Brahma chicken unless it got moved, because it still works front to back. So there we go, that was pretty quick. So we're just going to have a quick look at another run. This one we're picking up on turn 12 because this ends up going quite late. I mean, it's not surprising with Badger, you can end up going pretty late into the game. And unfortunately here, the whale's Cauliflower gets removed, so you can actually see the effect there that it doesn't get the permanent stats. But luckily it had just enough there to summon the Brahma chicken and give the Anubis some more stats. Okay, this team is probably going to be a bit of a problem. Level 2 Turkey, level 2 Fly. Although we're going to get all our stat gain, this team is not set up to beat summons, especially since the Badger is going to team kill the whale here. Yeah, maybe if they didn't have Deer, we might have had a slightly better chance, but no, I think that one was done and dusted as soon as the battle started. So yeah, here obviously you could swap the Cauliflower on the whale for another Unagi. But since Cauliflower was kind of the theme of the video, I ended up just leaving it. And I suppose actually the later the game goes, the less likely it is that the Unagi is going to do damage, because a lot of units are going to have Okra, a lot of units are going to have Lemon and Melon, and a lot of the time it's just not going to do anything. Or it's not going to be strong enough to actually punch through the armor and deal damage. But I think you can see from this setup that pretty easily we're going to get to 50-50 on the Badger, and then the Cauliflower doesn't do anything. Although I think I leave it on the Badger. Probably didn't have any decent equipment in the late game anyway, since I was committing to having these particular perks. Obviously we have Mushroom for the Skeleton Dog. Always nice to see Mantis getting absolutely destroyed by the Badger. Okay, we do waste a little bit on the Chimera summons there, but we still get the win. Not really much else we can do to upgrade the team at this point. Yeah, I suppose Brahma Chicken must be able to buff itself, can it? If you give it, if you use Anubis with Brahma Chicken and Unagi. I haven't actually tried that one, so there's some homework for someone to have a go at. But here the Badger Blast removes the coconut, and although they have the real Velo, the Badger's still going to hit through. But unfortunately it was actually permanent Peanut that they had there from the Terror Bird. That's another unit that you don't see very often, even though it seems reasonably strong on the face of it. And here I was just eager to get to the end of the game, so I just skipped spending the last 3 gold. I think it's pretty unlikely that we were going to draw at this point. And then we face this really odd ostrich team where they have almost no attack, and it's a very easy win for the badger just sweeping right through.